And what's going on, guys? This is Uche and Joku, sneaker principal, and it's time for office hours. So it's been a nice long day. It's 6 p.m., and I decide before I run out this door to head home, I do a quick live stream. So what I want to talk to you about today's topic, as you can see, is about how I grow and support aspiring leaders. It's something that's very interesting because most school leaders that I know are squarely focused, and as they should be, squarely focused on really making sure that their schools are taken care of. You know, we're talking about test scores, we're talking about creating a safe space, making sure instruction is happening, and all these things are necessary. Don't get me wrong, extremely necessary and at the core of what we do, and should be at the core of what we do. But a long time ago, I heard this phrasing, this thing that I thought was super inspiring, and that thing that I heard had to do with leadership, and what it was the fact that I had a leader who told me that one of my primary responsibilities was to ensure that I found my replacement. It's hot. First of all, guys, it's hot in here. I don't know why they have the heat in this building like blaring all day long. And right now I'm just like in the oven. But I had to close the windows and turn the AC off because I need you to hear me. So if you see me wrapping my head, it's because I'm hot. And then I know this doesn't help, but it is what it is. But so I was told that one of my primary responsibilities was to find my replacement. I thought it was really odd because when I was told this, I was still a dean at the time. And I think I was at Teachers College working on my master's in leadership. And I was befuddled. Find my replacement. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like in my fourth year in education. I'm still shocked that I'm even at Teachers College working on a master's degree in school leadership. I'm still trying to figure out this deaning thing. And people are telling me, like, listen, you should be a principal one day. You should be an assistant principal next. But so being in that space, the whole notion of finding my replacement didn't make any sense to me. But in time, as I got deeper into this profession and I got closer to leadership, meaning that I got to see behind the veil. As a teacher, you only see but so much. As a dean, you see a lot, but you only see but so much. And I wasn't an assistant principal yet, even though I was functioning a lot of the roles of an assistant principal, but I wasn't there yet. But however, I mean, first of all, I want to thank my mentor. I talk about him all the time, John Barnes. If you're watching this, you're the man, because you saw something in me way before I even knew of the possibility of being a school leader. But the thought of understanding what it meant to be a leader happened during those years at Teachers College and doing my internship hours, and my principal allowed me to see more and more and more and understand the challenges and the battles and everything you go through, which often seems to be behind closed doors, or you're just not privy to, And when you are around really good school leaders, like really good school leaders who are doing, like almost like they're performing miracles, and I don't think I'm one of those people by any means, but there's some school leaders, or just some leaders who just seem to know what to say, what to do. They have the right answer, even when you know they're stuck. It's like it just pours and downloads into your heads, and they can tell you, this is what we're going to do next. And they do it with confidence and clarity of mind. And being in that position where I'm still trying to figure out myself as a leader, but then to be in a conversation where I'm being told your job is to find your replacement, I was like, okay. But it made more sense, though. I'll tell you when it made sense. When I became an assistant principal, and I was no longer the dean, and mind you, as a dean, I was the dean. I handled all school culture, discipline, in the school. But then I was also the math team lead, the science team lead, and the special education coordinator. So I was in those four roles, and meetings after meetings, and still dealing with handling all my other responsibilities as a dean. But in doing all that, I didn't realize that what I was doing was abnormal. I would tell colleagues of mine, friends of mine, this is what I'm doing in my school, and they'd be like, "How? When? When do you have the time to do all that? Like, you're gonna burn out." And I was being told you're gonna burn out, and that's not illegal. Why would they have you doing all these roles? But me personally, I just thought this. I didn't think. It just felt normal, managing all these different things. And now I know that my principal was doing something amazing. He was giving me a feel of what it feels to be a principal so early in my career, juggling multiple things, having a meeting with a parent over an incident that happened in the school, then an hour later sitting with the math team talking about, giving a professional development or going over some data with them, or supporting a teacher as a mentor with their lesson planning or classroom management. All these different things, then also facilitating IEPs, making sure we're on time. All these things were happening at the same time. And again, he was giving me the chance to see what the role felt like. But what he did for me, he unleashed in me the ability to do these things that were already in me. And what I didn't realize at the time, what he was doing also was he was finding his replacement. I mean, he's still a principal. He's still doing an amazing job. But in me, he kind of like pulled back the husk, revealed the innards of who I was as a leader and my capacity as a leader. And it stayed with me. Even though then I probably didn't realize that was what was happening, it stayed with me. It became part of my toolbox of leadership. When I became an assistant principal, I was in the same school, and we had to hire a new dean, because I couldn't be the dean and assistant principal. I probably could have, but it was the right time for me to transition fully into administrative responsibilities and really being an operational instructional leader. We needed a dean. And I remember we went through, 3 deans. We went through 3 deans within a span of, let's say, 2-3 years, because trying to find the right person to be able to do the work, but not only that, to be able to do the work the way I did the work, which was abnormal, of course, but that was what was culture now at the school. The dean did all these different things. So it's interesting now trying to find that person. And it was tough. But reflecting back now, I was so early in the game when the seeds were planted in me of leadership. It wasn't like they had to find me to fit into a role. I was built into that role. And looking back, I realized how important it is to find and seek talent very early and build people from the ground up into leadership. Often what happens is people just kind of decide, I want to be this. Oh, I see that thing. I think I could be that. Oh, how much money do they make? Oh, heck yeah. I want to be in that role for the salary. Or, oh, look, they get sit in the office all day. They don't do anything. So you have all these perceptions. But for me, I've shared this with you guys. I came into the New York City Department of Education, and my first job was the dean of a high school. So I was juggling being a dean and being a teacher at the same time, learning pedagogy and learning and taking on administrative responsibilities from day one. So I was built into that. And often we're so busy trying to find it out there already built for us that we don't realize that it's important to actually find the talent in our schools early on. And I can say this, and I'm very proud to say this, as a principal, as a sitting principal, there are 3 principals that I can say I had a direct hand in their development into who they are now as school leaders. And each of them was early on in your journey towards leadership that I literally saw and I felt like this person has something here. And I don't want to be so like esoteric, but like, oh, I just felt something. No, it was stances. It was things that they did that I recognized. I was like, okay, that's a great move right there. Oh, the way this person speaks to this person, the way this person interacts with kids, the way this person, is able to support their colleagues. And I was seeing things that I learned and I was taught to be the right way of doing things, the right way that leaders should conduct themselves. But also a lot of things that I did naturally because it was already ingrained in me early on. So becoming a school leader or becoming into education just fine-tuned my skills to be able to be applied into this career field. And I found myself, especially with those three, I saw that. I saw it from the jump. The moment I sat down and met them, I was like, But what's funny is that at least with the first one, it wasn't intentional. I didn't realize I had done it until it had been done. Me saying, "Hey, think about this. Hey, I wouldn't do that. Hey." Then the next one was like, "No, no, no, no. You are going to be. I can see it. Look at the things that you do." Then the third was, "Okay, you're it." Like over time, I got stronger and stronger in being able to identify talent and pouring into them, being intentional of the tasks and the responsibility I gave them as their leader, and what I'm really saying is like building that toolbox. I built a toolbox where I was like, okay, I know what I'm looking for. And it's funny now. Right now, sitting as a principal, I have multiple people on my team. It's almost like I search out future leaders. Whether you're in the classroom teaching, whether you are my dean or you're my master teacher or you're my sitting AP, I am constantly seeking and looking for people who are not just going to come to my school to just be a teacher, but I'm looking for something else in addition. Because one of the issues that we don't really talk about, but we do talk about, we don't really talk about, is the fact that we talk about that finding talented educators is really tough. Just getting people to come into education is really tough. But the problem also is when we have talented people in our schools, we try to keep them boxed in. We don't ever say like, whoa, this person could do more. No, we say, no, I need this person to be so phenomenal what they're doing right now, negating the fact that they might want more or they have hidden talents that can really move the school forward. Like today, we had IRD testing. We're doing our interim assessments to see how the kids are doing as far as we're going through the school year. And I kept on hearing about one of my teachers who was like online tracking the numbers because with iReady you can see digital progress of the kids and how they're doing. But that's the data we need to collect to see the growth. And she was sitting there crunching numbers so quickly. She's like, okay, this kid made this amount of growth. This kid made this amount of growth. Okay, this is what I need to focus. And she was doing that so quickly with such focus. I was like, I've been needing a data analyst, a data specialist, and I'm discovering a skill set that she has. And we had a conversation. I was like, I heard that you were doing this. She was like, let me show you. And she's like, I've always thought like that. This is the kind of things that I think, if I'm able to harness, I can get the kids to understand their progress and what they need to do. And I was like, wow, because that's a skill that I had to develop over years, and I'm not as good as this person is in doing that. That's a talent, But how many schools are like, listen, I need to hire somebody to come in here and crunch my numbers for me. But I just found a person, and now, of course, I'm going to have to do some little bit more vetting to see, what they're really thinking and how can we expand this, maybe teaching other teachers how to do this. But again, that's how you identify leaders, because now I'm looking at her like, wait a minute, what else can she do? Maybe she doesn't want to be a principal, but she could lead in a space that really moves the school forward as well, grounded in her gifting around data. And it's not just, I'll tell you this, the thing about this, it's not just about just teachers and administrators. I have had school aides, people who just support staff and I saw the talent and I was like, whoa, I need you at my school. Oh my God, look at this person. One of the things I'm going to say right now, I tell people this all the time. I don't hire when it's hiring season. I'm hiring all the time. And I'm also doing internal hires, meaning that the people on my team, it's like, listen, in the next year or two, we're going to groom you to be in this space. And I tell them this because, of course, you want to get consent, but you don't want to be pushing for somebody to move into a space that they're not ready for or they don't even want. But keeping your eyes always open, always thinking about like how do I ensure that I have the right people, the best people, and amongst them, I'm able to identify that person that could easily step into my role, step into the seat, and if not my seat, a seat somewhere else. We can't complain about the lack of talent and the struggle to find good people if we're not willing to find the good people amongst us. There's one thing I want to tell you is this. You identify superstars will attract other superstars. But if you try and keep everybody's baseline the same, then guess what? People only see you. And my thing is this. I tell people all the time, I don't need you to see me. What I need you to do is see the work and see my team. And one thing I can tell I'm very proud of is that over the course of my career as a school leader, I've always given full credit to my team. And not only that, I've also, at the risk of losing people, which has happened many times, I've also showcased the talent of my team. But again, some people might say, "Yo, if I don't want to do that because I don't want this person to leave or be recruited by someone else." But my mentality is, if you are recruited by someone else and you go somewhere else to another school community, all you're doing is expanding the work. It's like a flower saying, "I don't want my pollen to be spread across to other flowers." But how do you get more flowers if we're not fertilizing spaces so that we can get more leaders and more people who are capable of doing the work that we know that is needed? And at the core of what I'm saying is this. We have to mentor. You have to be willing to be a mentor. Because the thing is, you could identify talent, but if you're not willing to invest in people to be, look at the lights are flickering. Mentorship, that's the key word. So if you're not willing to be a mentor and really pour into people and stick with them for the long run, for the long run. I have people that I worked with in the past that I still am connected to. I'm willing to pick up that call, pick up their call, and talk through things. Because we can't complain about poor leadership or the lack of strong leadership if we're not building capacity amongst talented people. The saddest thing for me is when somebody who's really talented leaves to go somewhere else because no one was willing to pour into them. And it's even worse when they don't even realize that's what is pushing them out. There's something in them that wants to come out, but no one sees it or no one is helping them realize it. And they just think, maybe I'm just not in the right place. And then they leave, and students suffer, schools suffer, communities suffer, because we're allowing amazing people to just walk out the door. So what I'm saying is, as a leader, look for the talent, seek the talent, pour into the talent, be willing to mentor, because yes, it's more work on your table, but however, you're able to identify 2 or 3 amazing people. Guess what? Now your team just became a beast of a team, And I'm proud to say that right now at my school, I have a beast of a team, very talented people, and I have to continue to mentor and push and pour into them. Because eventually these people are going to move on and, God willing, be leaders in their own school communities and kind of like, what you say, wash, rinse, repeat. They're going to find their replacements as well. And maybe by doing this, we can expand and really make the system much better for the sake of our children. All right, y'all. Uche and Joku, thank you so much for your time. I'm about to get out of here so I can get home. And until next time, thank you for joining me for Office Hours. Peace.